So, another cooking video. I'm not really sure what we're making today. Connor has made it at school before and says it's really good. Pizza toast. So could be a nice little lunch, could be a nice little snack, an opportunity to kind of make a pizza type thing that's a little bit simpler and a little bit easier. Hope you enjoy it. 3 comments below, tell us what you want next, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, here it goes. Okay, so ingredients for pizza toast. We got your general base and then some toppings. So Connor's just going to tell you about the ingredients that we're going to need.
So you're going to need some bread. So you can either have 1 or 2 slices, depending on how hungry you are. You're going to need some cheese, because it's pizza and you can't have pizza without cheese. And you're going to need some tomato puree as well.
So if you don't have tomato puree, you can substitute the tomato puree just for some ketchup. We've got 2 types of cheese because we're feeling greedy. It works really nicely with cheddar, and there's a bit of mozzarella there as well. Now, in terms of toppings, we got a whole range of different bits and pieces. Lewis, Connor's little brother, is a big ham and pineapple fan, so we got ham and pineapple there. I think Connor's going to go for a bit of the old pepperoni type pizza, but then we've also got some olives, peppers, a bit of onion, some spinach, and some herbs if we're feeling a little bit exotic. But Connor, before we do any cooking, what do we need to do? The answer is wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Right, let's go wash our hands then. Always important we wash our hands before we do any sort of cooking. Get rid of all of those germs. Okay, so I think we've learned a little bit from our last video, and we've got ourselves prepared with all the equipment that we're going to need. So come and have a look. So for our cheese, we're going to need a grater to go on top of our pizza. You can buy the cheese already grated, so that might make it a bit easier as well. We're going to need a nice sharp knife, so you might need an adult to help you with that, or at least maybe an adult supervising. Chopping board to chop my bits and pieces on. I like to try and be nice and prepared when I cook, so I've got some little plates here to put my different ingredients on once they're all chopped, so that when it comes to making the pizza I've got everything at hand. And then to help with all of the kind of building my pizzas and things, I've got some teaspoons, a big spoon and a knife. Now for cooking, what you're going to need, come with me, we're going to need a grill. Alright, now if you've got an oven, chances are it's got a grill on it. And the grill, on most ovens, would have a jiggly pattern at the top. So either one of these on our oven is a grill, and we know that because of the jiggly pattern at the top. So the first thing we're going to do is grate up some cheese. Now, cheese often comes in a big block like this, and that can be really hard to grate. So before we start grating, I'm going to chop off a block that I'm going to grate, and the rest can go back in the packet. Great thing with this recipe is nothing's going to go to waste. So if I don't need all of this cheese, whatever I don't need, I can put back in a packet and it can go back in the fridge. Alright, come around this side for me, Connor, so that you can see the grater. Alright, so grating. These box graters are really good because you can put them on your surface and hold on and keep your fingers nice and safe. Alright, so I'm going to hold my cheese, keep my fingers away because this is sharp. Alright, and then just push the cheese down. Doesn't matter how slow you go, it's not a competition. Doesn't matter if we go really slowly or if we're a bit more confident. If we've done a bit more, we can go a bit faster. And keep an eye on those fingers. Have a look at my fingers. Come closer, Connor. Have a look at these fingers to make sure they're right out of the way. So as the cheese disappears and is being grated, I'm moving my fingers out of the way. Now there will probably be a bit of cheese at the end that will get to the end, it starts to break off. Now these little bits are really hard to grate without cutting your fingers or catching your fingers on the grater. So when you feel like your fingers are getting a bit close, stop. Alright, and then there's a nice little treat. for the cook. There you go, you can have bits up. Fab. Okay. So our cheese has gone from the chopping board over to the plate, ready for the next stage. Connor is going to chop a pepper now, using a sharp knife. So you might need an adult to do this bit for you, or maybe just an adult to supervise, but Connor's going to show you a way that we think is really safe to chop something like a pepper. Go for it then, Connor.
First, you can snap off this green bit. If I can actually snap it off.
As you've got the muscles.
There we go. Snap that bit off.
So that makes it a bit flatter and there's not pokey things out which are in the way.
And now you want to cut the pepper.
Right, stop there a second, Connor. We're going to have a look at what you're doing with the knife. Alright, so spin it around. So can you see how Connor has made a bridge over the top of the pepper with his hand, and then the knife is in between? So that means the sharp bit is right out the way of his fingers, and his fingers aren't in any danger. Alright, so remember, a bridge, and then drive the knife through the hole in the middle.
So now you can just saw and saw until you get all the way through.
Fab.
So now you would like to put them on their flat side so they don't roll away when you're trying to cut them.
That makes it nice and safer. Alright, do that bridge again, Connor, as well.
And then you can cut it in half again. And then the same with the other half. Like that. And now I like to use a teaspoon to scrape these seeds out. So these bits you can usually go out with your thumbs and snap them off. But these white bits here are really hard to get out with the thumb. So I usually just scrape them out.
Now you can eat those white bits, but they're not the tastiest.
No.
Alright, and then scraping them out with a spoon keeps your fingers nice and safe. Alright. Now, it doesn't need to be the cleanest in the world. This is the important bit to get rid of, this white bit here.
And then you want to get all of the seeds out from the inside as well.
So pulling out the core bit with his hand, ripping that off, and then using his spoon to scrape out the white bit. Fab. And the next one?
There's usually like a little bit of like a tail on the peppers, and they don't taste very nice, so you can usually always rip them out. Right, so we're going to clean up as we go, and Connor's going to gather up all of those bits from the inside of the pepper. And most of the seeds, he's going to pop them in our compost bucket, ready to go up to the compost bin later on today. Okay, so now we've chopped our peppers in quarters and we cleaned out the cores. Connor's now just chopping them into bits that can go on top of our peppers. Connor, can we just see you slice up one of those quarters again into your strips? So again, he's using his bridge with a knife going through the middle. Alright, then he's going nice and slowly with the knife and keeping his fingers right out of the way. Now once you've got the strips, now you can go do what Connor's doing here. He's got a little group of them. He's got a little group of them together. Alright, just show us your hand before you start chopping, Connor. Alright, put it back on the peppers for me. He's using a claw there, and he's using his fingernails to hold the peppers onto the chopping board, as opposed to show us the bad way.
So that's the bad way, because now his fingers would be in danger from the knife. So that's the bad way. We want a nice claw, all right? And then he's going to chop little cubes of pepper off the end. All right, now if you find to do a bunch of them tricky, that's okay. You could just do one at a time, and Connor will show us that in a second. Once he's chopped these, he'll show us one at a time. All right, and if you drop them, that's fine. You can always come back and do little bits again afterwards. They don't need to all be exactly the same size. And just like the cheese, if you don't use all of the pepper in on your pizza toast, then it can go in a little pot in the fridge and it can be used next time. All right, Connor, show us just chopping one of these. All right, if we find holding all of them a bit tricky, how would we chop one? So there we go, same way, show us the claw again. So he's going to use the claw instead of the flat fingers, and then use his knife to chop one at a time. All right, and that's okay, it'll just take you a bit longer, but that's all right, nobody minds. Right, so he's got a bit more peppers to chop up. So what you can see at the moment is that Connor's used the same knife that we used to chop the cheese, and we're going to use the same knife for chopping our salami and our ham up, because these are already cooked. If we weren't using cooked meats, we would need to use a different knife, but because all our meats are cooked, we can use the same knife today, and that is fine. How's those peppers going, Connor?
Good.
Got a nice bridge there. Right, so he's finding a little bit of space tricky to work on his chopping board, so he's moving some of the peppers he's already chopped onto that plate. And then he'll just chop up this last one here. So we're filming all of our videos in real time, so even though we've already seen Connor chop off 3/4 of a pepper, you're seeing all of it, so that hopefully it becomes a little bit easier for you guys to follow, and you're not having to pause and go back and whatever. But you can always pause it, that's fine, but you're seeing it in real time here today. It's not like Jamie Oliver's 15-minute meals. No trickery going on here. Right, that's the pepper chopped. Okay, so now we've got some of the meats that we're going to chop up. Now, there's 7 slices in this pack, and I know I'm not going to need all 7. So I'm going to open the pack carefully. I think maybe 3 slices of ham will be plenty. Cover the lid back up, because then that can go in the fridge, and it can be used for somebody's sandwiches tomorrow, or it can be used in something else. All right. This way, you might think we're using a lot, but we're not wasting a lot of it. Now, the ham's nice and sticky, so it's going to stick to the chopping board. Keeping my hands out of the way, using the claw like Connor used before to keep it still. Going back in a nice straight line, just cutting my ham into strips. And then I'm going to turn the chopping board to chop it into little squares as well. Right, now sprinkle those onto the plate, and they should break up a little bit easier. Now the salami we've got, just what we were able to get from the shop today. It's actually quite big. These circles of salami are quite big, so these are going to need a little chopping as well. Alright, so I think I'm going to stack up 1, 2, 3, 4 slices of salami, and again, seal the pack back down, and then that can go in the fridge and be used in somebody else's sandwiches or a pizza another day. Using my claw again with the sharp knife, I'm going to chop it in half. I'm going to spin the chopping board, and I'm going to chop it in half again, so I've got little squares. I think that might be a little bit too big, so I'm going to spin it and chop it again. So we've got little triangles of salami for our pizza. Alright, so there we go. So we've got some cheese, peppers, and some meat. Last thing we need to prepare now, the pineapple we've got, can you see that on the camera?
Yes, we can.
Is slices of pineapple, which isn't going to be great for our pizza. We need them in little chunks. Alright, now these tins can be tricky to open, and I can never get that ring up. It's another way where a spoon comes in. So if you put your tin on the side, and with your spoon, you might be able to slide your spoon underneath, and then you've got a little lever which you can push down, and that starts it off for me. So I'm going to pull it towards me, turn the can away, and this circle in the middle of the can is a good place for my thumb to go, and my finger can get underneath the ring and it can pull up. Now, your pineapple will be in some juice or some syrup, and that's important to keep hold of, because I'm not going to use this whole tin of pineapple, but if I keep the rest of the pineapple that I don't use in the tin with the juice, it will keep in the fridge. I'm going to take 2 rings out. Right, with a knife, fish them out. I can stack them back up on top of each other. And just like I chopped the pepperoni or the salami, using my claw, spinning the chopping board round, and there we've got some nice little pineapple chunks. There we go. So, one final thing for us to prepare. I'm going to put a little bit of cling film on this. Why can you never find the end of the cling film? It's all stuck together. Right. A little bit of cling film over the top, and then this will go in the fridge for another time as well. Now it's open, that pineapple does need to stay in the fridge. So, prepare is the mozzarella. Now mozzarella's a bit funny, you can feel that there's a liquid in this bag with the cheese as well. Now I'm going to need a pair of scissors to open this. It's one thing you can never find in our house is scissors. Here's a packet, here's a pair here. I'm going to take it over to the sink before I open it, because this liquid needs to go somewhere. Alright, so before I open the packet, I'm just going to snip off the corner, which will allow me to pour all of that liquid out. And that's just keeping the cheese fresh. Probably don't need that, you don't want to eat it either. Alright, once all that liquid's come out, I can then snip off the end, and out comes my ball of mozzarella. Now, you could chop the mozzarella up into circles or pieces if you like, but this is a really lovely cheese, and if you give it a push, you'll just be able to break off little flakes of mozzarella, which I think are quite nice. So you can either chop it, or you can just mush it up into bits. It's completely up to you. Now, at this stage, this is just what we're having in our pizza. You may have some more toppings to chop up and prepare. That's absolutely fine. You might want to pause the video at this bit and chop up the rest of your toppings. Alright, because now, at this stage, once I finish ripping up these last bits of mozzarella, we have got everything ready that we need to make our pizza toast here and ready. Alright, so if you've got more toppings that you want to prepare, pause the video, chop them all up, set them all out on plates, and then press play again when you're ready to start building your pizza and cooking. Ooh. Okay, so now we're ready to build our pizzas and get them cooking. Fran's at work today, so we're only making lunch for the 3 of us, 3 hungry boys at home on their own. Alright, so first things first, let's get the grill on. So you're looking for that symbol with the jiggly lines on it. There it is, and then we want our grill on maximum temperature. Okay. Oh, we don't know. And the important thing with grills is the door should stay open. All right. Now, Connor, we need a grill pan so we can put our toast on. There we go. So what are we doing first then, Connor?
Well, we need to lay our bits of bread onto the tray so we can toast one side. Only one side. So I'm going to have 2. How many are you?
2 for me and 1 for little Lou, I think. Because he's a bit younger than us. There's 5 bits of bread. You might have to spin them around to see how many you can fit on.
Okay.
And then they are going to go under the grill. Now you want the shelf to go as high as it can for the grilling. Alright, now that's going to stay under there and you're going to have to keep an eye on it a little bit because it's going to take a little while, but we've all had toast before and that's what we're looking for it to look like. At the moment it's nice and white, but we're going to wait until it's toasty golden brown. So our toast has been under the grill for about 5 minutes. Start to pull the tray out, Connor, we can have a little check. And there we go, we've got a nice golden brown on our toast. So Connor's going to carefully put oven gloves on because this is hot. The grill will be hot. So you may need to get a parent helper or an adult to help you do that bit. And there we go, we've got one side of our pizza toast toasted. So we put the tray, the hot tray, on the hob because it's hot and we didn't want to damage the surface. Alright, so now I'm going to take my toast that's been cut on one side and just pop it on a plate. Right. Careful not to touch any of the metal bits because it will be hot. You can do that with a pair of tongs or a flipper if you'd like. Now, I'm going to bring it over to my chopping board, but I don't want that side, I want to see the other side, which is still white and still soft. Alright? Tomato puree. Open this up and put a dollop in the middle. Now, I need to spread it like I'm buttering a piece of bread. So you can do that with a knife, but because we want it a bit thicker, if you find a knife a bit tricky, you could use a spoon to spread it out. Alright, we want to try and get a bit of tomato everywhere. Alright, and once we've got our tomatoey piece of bread, we can then come at it with a bit of cheese. Sprinkle a bit of cheese over the top. Going in with a bit of cheddar first. Now, it's the mozzarella that is that stringy cheese that if you buy a pizza from the shop would makes the really stringy gooey cheese. So I'm just going to place a couple of nuggets of that on top of my pizza. This one I'm going to make a little ham and pineapple one. So I'm going to come in with my ham and just lay some bits and pieces on top. You could have fun here and make it look like a face or a number or the letter of your name. So pop some ham on top and then my little chunks of pineapple. Now because you're making your own pizza, you can have whatever topping on it you like. You can, we've made in the past, we've made some really lovely pizzas with mascarpone cheese and chocolate spread and bits of fruit on and have as a pudding if you like, but I'm going on with a bit more ham on top of that. So that's that one done. I'm going to pop it back on the grill and then I'm going to come and do the others. White side, squidge of tomato puree, spread it around. You can always add a little bit more. In with the cheese. With the cheese. little bit of mozzarella. I like the mozzarella. Now, I'm feeling a bit adventurous with this one. So I'm going to sprinkle over some mixed herbs just to make it a little bit posher. And this one, I think I'm going to go for some pepperoni and some peppers. So laying the pepperoni on top. And some peppers on top of that. My belly's starting to get hungry now. Try not to put too many toppings on your pizza toast because they'll just fall off in the grill and then you won't get to eat them, and that won't be fun. Cheese next. Sprinkle the cheese over. Oh, I'm just going to make a meaty one. Let's have a bit of herbs. A few herbs. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. Some ham. My own little version of a meat feast. Some pepperoni. And pop that on the grill. So that's 3. 2 more to go. Nearly there. You don't have to make all your pizza toasts different toppings, you can make them all the same. But this would be a great way, great thing to cook for, maybe the whole family. Surprise them. Make lunch for all of them. I'm just going to put a bit of mozzarella in this one. Not any cheddar at all. Some pepperoni. Some peppers. And the last one. Now remember, any of these toppings that don't get used in our pizza toast, wrap them up, pop them in the fridge, and you can use them next time. Right, mixture of cheese here. Bit of pepper, a bit of cheddar, bit of mozzarella, get it on. Oh, these are going to taste really good. Ham and pineapple for this final one, I think. A few bits of pineapple. Follow it in with plenty of ham. Now, pop it on the grill. Now these just need to go back under the grill. It won't take all that long this time. We're just waiting for the cheese to melt and for them to look like pizzas. Shouldn't take too long. This is quite nice and safe because all the toppings that we've used are already cooked, so there's no risk of food poisoning. Now the tray will probably still be hot. Oven gloves on. May need your adult helper to help you with this, but slide it on under the grill. I reckon it's only going to take maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then these bits of pizza toast will be ready for eating. See you in a bit, pizza toast. So our bits of pizza toast have been under the grill for about 5 minutes, and you can see when you pull them out, cheese has started to melt. Some of the bits of meat and stuff have started to crisp up. They look lovely, but remember it's all hot. I've got oven gloves. The grill is finished with now, so I can shut the door up, I can turn that off. And now it's just a case of serving them up. Using a little spatula here, because they are going to be hot. Okay. And pop them on a plate. And that's it. Pizza toast. Hopefully you're enjoying making them. They look really, really tasty. It'd be great to see photos of you having a go at making these, eating these yourselves. Get parents to take photos and send them to us using the Evidence for Learning app. Otherwise, there we go. Pizza toast. Enjoy, stay safe, see you soon. Bye-bye.